episode of Banter with the Boys. We're honored to have former wide receiver, NFL kick returner Reggie Swinton with us today. I appreciate Reggie taking time to do this. He played for the Dallas Cowboys, Detroit Lions, Arizona Cardinals, and during his time, he had 4 touchdowns that he returned kicks. 2 of them as kick returns and 2 as punt returns. So we're really happy to have you today, Reggie. Thanks again for doing this. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
To get us started, can you reflect a little bit about your time at Murray State? I know you had a really good collegiate career, and then you also played for Houston Nutt. What was it like at Murray State? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Man, when I first got there, it was a culture shock. I got there on campus, didn't really want to be there, homesick, never been that far away from home for that period of time, man. But as time went on, I got used to being gone and got to making some plays in football. And after making plays, I got to believing I could go pro. And after making a lot of plays, I was convinced I could go pro. And the only regret that I have from Murray State was not coming out early in 96 when I should have came out after my season, when I was ranked number 3 in the nation in 1AA behind Randy Moss and Dietrich Ward. They were first-team All-Americans. I was second-team All-American, the number 3 receiver in 1AA. And I had no clue that Houston Nutt would leave before my senior season. And he left right after it was, I could declare. It had gotten too late where I could leave. So I had to come back for my senior season. The new coach came in, we didn't get along. And so I went from starting and being an All-American to just being a role player. And it messed up my draft stock. But other than that, man, I had a great 4 years at Murray State. Well, great 3 years at Murray State. And then my 4th year was sort of rocky. But that's my path and how I made it.
You had a little bit of a journey before you got to the Cowboys, because I was double checking your bio and kind of looking at you. You basically went to the CFL for a bit, and then you're in the Arena League, and it was actually during your time at Arkansas with the Arkansas Torpedoes, correct? Is that the proper name of the team?
The Arkansas Twisters.
Twisters, sorry. The Arkansas Twisters, that the coach there had recommended you to the Cowboys. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, they cut me in camp initially, and then they brought me back in week 5. And so I played the last 12 games, ended up with 37 touchdowns, I think 80-something catches and 1,500 yards. And so after that, nobody picked me up. And so I began to go to car salesman school. And so I was in class, and the Cowboys called me. They wanted to bring me in for a workout, but that's because my coach had been calling down there and trying to get them to take his call, about me, and they wouldn't take his call. So he actually drove down there to camp in Wichita Falls, and he got a hold to Jerry and Steven, and he said, I got a guy who I just coached that's probably better than your 3rd, 4th, and 5th receiver. And at that moment is when they called me when I was in class. And when I got the initial phone call from Todd Williams, it came as an unknown number. And I remember I hung up in his face when he said, hey, this is Todd Williams of the Cowboys. I'm like, man, yeah, right. And I hung the phone up in his face, and he called right back. He said, no, this is Todd Williams. He said, Ron Calcagney is here with us, and we want to bring you in for a workout. So I was like, wow. So I was like, when? He said, well, we're going to fly you in Saturday morning and work you out. He said, come packed, ready to stay. I remember that conversation. And what's crazy is the very next day I'm in class again on Thursday, and I get a phone call from the Miami Dolphins. They want to bring me in. And I'm like, well, I already told the Cowboys, who was my childhood team, that I'll be coming in Saturday morning for them. And they was like, well, if it don't work out there, we want to bring you in for a workout. So it worked out there. And that's how I ended up being with the Cowboys.